episode of Campfire Frights. The moon hung low in the ink-black sky, casting an eerie glow over the dense woods that surrounded Camp Ravenwood. The air was thick with a sinister energy as a group of unsuspecting campers arrived for their first night at the camp center. As the bus pulled away, the campers were greeted by a foreboding silence that seemed to whisper through the trees. The camp center, a dilapidated building with boarded-up windows and a creaky front door, loomed in front of them. The campers exchanged uneasy glances, but the excitement of their first camping trip masked any apprehension. Inside, the air was musty, and the dim lighting created unsettling shadows that danced along the walls. The campers gathered in the common room, where a crackling fireplace provided the only source of warmth. The camp counselors, a group of young adults with forced smiles, welcomed the campers and assured them that the camp center was completely safe. As night fell, the temperature dropped, and an ominous fog enveloped the campgrounds. The campers huddled around the flickering fire, sharing ghost stories and nervous laughter. The counselors tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, but an unspoken tension hung in the air. As the clock struck midnight, strange noises echoed through the woods. Branches scraped against the windows, and the wind whispered unintelligible words. The campers exchanged uneasy glances, their laughter fading into nervous silence. In the midst of the eerie atmosphere, one camper named Emma couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She excused herself from the group and ventured outside to get some fresh air. The fog clung to the ground, and the moon's feeble light barely penetrated the thick canopy of trees. As Emma walked along a narrow path, she stumbled upon an old cemetery hidden in the shadows. Weathered tombstones stood crookedly, their inscriptions worn away by time. The air grew colder, and the distant howl of a lone wolf sent shivers down her spine. Suddenly, Emma heard a soft, mournful whisper carried by the wind. "Leave this place," it urged, chilling her to the bone. She turned, expecting to see one of her friends playing a prank, but the graveyard was empty. The fog thickened, enveloping her in a spectral embrace. Back at the camp center, the remaining campers felt a sudden drop in temperature. The fire flickered, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. The counselors, now visibly anxious, attempted to distract the group with games, but the oppressive atmosphere refused to dissipate. Meanwhile, Emma felt an unseen force guiding her deeper into the woods. The trees seemed to close in on her, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The whispers grew louder, now accompanied by distant, ghostly moans. She stumbled upon an ancient, decaying cabin, its windows shattered and door ajar. Against her better judgment, Emma entered the cabin, the floor creaking beneath her weight. The air inside was heavy with the stench of decay. As she explored the dilapidated rooms, she discovered faded photographs of campers from long ago, their eyes staring accusingly from the yellowed images. Emma's heart pounded as she realized that the voices were the echoes of those who never left the cursed camp center. The spirits pleaded for release, their sorrow seeping into the very fabric of the place. Panic set in as Emma realized she was not alone. The ghosts of the past surrounded her, their ethereal forms manifesting in the shadows. Back at the camp center, the remaining campers and counselors felt an inexplicable sense of dread. The walls seemed to close in, and the air became suffocating. The fire extinguished itself, leaving the room in pitch darkness. Desperate cries and muffled sobs filled the void as unseen hands brushed against the terrified campers. Emma, now a vessel for the tormented spirits, stumbled back to the camp center. The ghostly voices merged into a haunting chorus, echoing through the desolate building. The campers, frozen in fear, watched as Emma's eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. The clock struck 3 a.m., and a bone-chilling scream pierced the silence. The camp center echoed with the tortured wails of the spirits, blending with the terrified cries of the living. The moon, now shrouded in ominous clouds, witnessed the night's descent into madness. As dawn broke, the camp center stood silent and empty, its walls holding the secrets of a night that would forever haunt the memories of those who dared to venture into the cursed Camp Ravenwood. The fog lifted, revealing a scene of desolation, with no trace of the campers or the counselors who had tried in vain to escape the clutches of the malevolent spirits that roamed the haunted grounds. Camp Ravenwood, once a place of youthful joy, now stood as a forsaken monument to the lingering darkness that dwelled within its haunted heart.